A bureaucracy so insane that even Ezra Kline, New York Times columnist, and Jon Stewart can't believe it.
We have to issue the notice of funding opportunity within 180 days. That's step one. Step two, which all 56 state applicants completed, is states who want to participate must submit a letter of intent. After they do that, they can submit a request for up to $5 million in planning grants. Then,
what Ezra is talking about here is how states get funding from President Biden's Build Back Better law. Okay, so I mean, yeah, it's one of these giant crony bills, okay, where everybody gets a piece of the pie. Well, what's interesting is that Ezra Kline and Jon Stewart are going over how it is that this money is sent out. Now, what's interesting is that one gets the sense that what, Ezra's really upset about is the fact that the money doesn't get to the states for boondoggles more quickly. But it is interesting as these two who come from the left, Ezra off the charts and Jon Stewart reasonable, but on the left, like it just can't. I mean, they're shocked by the Byzantine, rules and regs and what you have to do anything through the government. An important point is this is by design. Okay, in all of this complexity, the cronies take their piece.
The NTIA, step 4, has to review and approve and award, again, planning grants, not broadband grants, planning grants.
And it's still at the NTIA. It's still at the first step.
All right, so the NTIA must issue a NOFO within 180 days. States who want to participate must submit their letter of intent. Step 3, they can request up to $5 million in planning grants.
Just planning.
Just planning. Step 4, the requests are reviewed, approved, and awarded by the NTIA, which currently all 56, 3 years later, all 56 applicants had passed through at least step 5. It took more than 3 years. So it's a long time. States must submit a 5-year action plan. So the states kind of go back and they kind of think about how they're going to do this. And they don't just say, okay, thank you for the money. We're going to spend it. And you can see how it worked out later. We're like, here's our 5-year action plan. Then the FCC must publish the broadband data maps before NTIA allocates funds. So having done the NOFO, the letters of intent, the request for planning grants, then the review, approval, and awarding of the planning grants, then the 5-year action plans. In between that, the federal government has to put forward a map saying where it thinks we need rural broadband subsidies. And then, of course, the states need an opportunity to challenge the map for accuracy. And you can imagine this doesn't all happen in like a day. Okay, so then the NTIA, step 7, has to use the FCC maps to make allocation decisions. Then, having already done their letter of intent, their request for planning grants, it's hard even to talk about this, man. Step 7 is NTIA must use the FCC maps that were already challenged for allocation decisions. Then, having submitted all this, I think this one is actually quite amazing. Yeah. Having submitted their 5-year plans or letters of intent, step 8 is states must submit an initial proposal to the NTIA.
Oh, good. We've finally gotten to the initial proposal after what, years of red tape.
Then,
is that the result of their $5 million planning fund? This initial
I assume,
proposal?
But then what was the 5-year plan?
And what the
edit?
Why for? What was their NOFO?
Like, if the 5-year action plan isn't the initial proposal, then what's the 5-year action
plan? Forget NOFO.
Okay.
MOFO.
Step 9, NTIA must review and approve each state's, again, initial proposal. By my read, we have had at least 2 initial proposals here, but that's a different issue.
Oh my God.
Step 10, states must publish their own map and allow internal challenges to their own map. So the government has published a map. They have invited the states to challenge the map. Then states have submitted initial proposals, and they then have to publish their own map and allow challenges.
Wait, who's challenging it within the state?
Well, organized interest groups, environmental groups, I don't know who specifically.
Oh, yeah. Now you're getting into the shakedown part of regulation. This is where the lawyers and other interest groups and all sorts of folks come and challenge whatever is going on, and they extract fees, and new proposals have to be done, and new studies have to be done, and everybody gets paid. That's the way it works. This is by design.
But literally anybody. This is,
Right.
I want to say something because it's very important I say this. This is the Biden administration's process for its own bill. They wanted this to happen.
Ezra makes a great point here. This is something that the Biden administration wanted. This is their law. And it's still this difficult. Why? Because there are so many crony interests. They know that this law is constructed this way. It is funny to see them surprised and just be like, wow, this is insane. No, this is the way it goes. This is how a lot of people make money, and some people a lot of money.
This is how liberal government works now.
This is something they instituted for this bill.
For their bill. This is a bill passed by Democrats with a regulatory structure written by Democratic administration. Okay.
Right.
Step 11. The NTIA must review and improve the challenge results and the final map. So the NTIA has put forward a map. The states have challenged that map. Then the states have put forward their maps, had other challenges. And now the NTIA must review and approve the challenges to the state maps. Okay. So we've done step 11. NTIA must review and approve challenge results and final map. We've lost 9 of the applicants at that point. Step 12. States must run a competitive sub-granting process.
And another edit.
At step 12, after all this has been done.
Yeah, none of that could have happened along the way here. We have now lost 17 more applicants. So now 30 of 56 have completed step 12. Step 13, states must submit a final proposal. All the proposals weren't enough to NTIA. Now that goes to 3 of 56. So we've gone in the last couple of steps from 56 had gone to this point to 3 of 56. Step 14, the NTIA must review and approve the state's final proposal. And that is 3 of the 56 jurisdictions and states are there. In summary, states are nearly at the finish line. And it says to stop their progress now, or worse, to make them go backwards, would be a stick in the spokes of the most promising broadband deployment plans we have ever seen. End scene.
I'm speechless, Ezra. Honestly, it's far worse than I could have imagined. But the fact that they amputated their own legs on this is what's so stunning.
So in the end, Stewart is most concerned with the fact that, government isn't working the way it should. Unfortunately, this is the nature of government. This sort of thing happens at all levels. The more confusing, the more difficult to understand, the more red tape, the more the cronies can make money along the way. Again, the way this law was constructed was by design. It wasn't flawed. This is the design. Till next time, this is Nick Sorrentino at Against Crony Capitalism.